Good evening again, everybody. It's Thursday. So what does that mean? It's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, not Mountain Standard High Time, where Brian is at. What does it mean? You've got Tailgate Talk Nebraska right back here with you again for another Thursday evening. We've got Brian Denton. He's out in Colorado. Brian, are you in Denver?
I'm in Littleton.
Where's that?
Where's that? Like in relevance?
It's a southwest suburb of Denver, basically.
All right.
So you are Denver.
Essentially.
Well, Brian, my daughter Madison, and her boyfriend Jason, they're in Denver right now. My boss and his wife, Troy and Sarah Watson, they're in Denver right now. Why? They're going to the Packer Bronco preseason game tomorrow night. They're also doing a few other things out there. Just wanted to let you know, if you run into them, tell them hi. On my left, as always, our gracious host, Jeff Green. Jeff, good evening.
How y'all doing tonight? Happy Thursday, everybody. And I can't wait to start talking some fantasy football.
Well, Jeff just ruined my intro because he always does. It's football season. Pros are getting ready to start. College is getting ready to start. And it's one of my favorite songs ever by Aldo Nova, Fantasy. If we had the copyrights to play it, we probably would have, but we don't. And that's right. It is also fantasy football season. Drafts have been happening. Drafts are still to happen. And it's time we break it down for you. You might notice our other one, Brian Cook, is not here tonight. He will tell you he had other plans tonight. We will tell you we did not want to give you any false information on fantasy football, so we asked him to not show up tonight. We actually told him we weren't going to be doing the show tonight, so he wouldn't show up because he would give you false information on fantasy. And guys, let's start with this. Brian, do you play fantasy football?
Yeah. Yep, I'm actually commissioner of league, been a commissioner for 15 years.
Jeff, do you play?
Oh, I've been playing since we had to do it ourselves out of the newspaper.
Yep. Well, I've been playing since Joe Montano was a linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens. No, he was a quarterback, I think. We got people chiming in yet?
No, not yet.
All right.
Not yet.
We want to know how many of you out there watching, how many of you play fantasy football? How many leagues are you in? How long have you been playing? You know, Jeff used to be a commissioner, Brian. Did you know that?
I heard that.
I won a lot back then.
He cheated all the time and won by telling people false information during draft night. So we took that away from him. And he's never won since. But let's get into this. Guys, we have our draft later after preseason is over. Because too many times I had seen it. You have a draft early, you take a guy you think is going to be big that year, and all of a sudden something happens to him in the preseason, he gets hurt, he's out.
The biggest one that brings everyone up to date, Michael Vick. You know, everybody was doing their drafts. He was on the last preseason game. Play one of the last preseason game, he breaks his leg, he's out for the year. And all of them people that drafted beforehand, all those number one picks with him, they were done.
Yeah.
I mean, they wasted their first overall number one pick.
What do you think, Brian? Is it better to draft after preseason so you don't run into that, you know, to make sure everybody's at a fair advantage?
Absolutely. And my league is always traditionally drafted right before or the weekend of Labor Day. Labor Day weekend's always been a staple because everybody's off an extra day. It's a little easier to get it in. But yeah, it's you have way too much that could happen. You have way too much that could happen in the preseason games. You know, just somebody playing for a possession. You know, they could go down with a major injury. You know, or even just the practices of the preseason. You know, there's so much that could go down. So waiting till to me, the last possible minute is the best way to do it.
Yep. And, you know, that's the other thing that you don't see as much anymore, though. A lot of the starters play maybe one or two series in a preseason game, even the last one of the preseason. So you don't, and they've cut it from 4 to 3 recently too. But
they've extended the season.
Right, they have extended the season out. But you know, I've always liked drafting after preseason let us know what
I feel if I was a head coach, I don't know how much I would play any of my starters in any of the games. Preseason is to see who the last 20 players are to make the squad, not who your starters are. You basically know who your starters are.
But you do want to give them a little bit of game time speed in that first couple series.
Just to knock the rust off.
Yeah. You want to give that to them.
But like the Giants last week, Dart, he went into concussion protocol.
Yeah.
On third play that he was in there?
Yeah. That was just because his
that's not okay.
Head butted before the game. But
Scadaboo's that way.
Yeah, I know he is.
You get a concussion just by hanging out with that guy.
Well, before we get into players, Jeff wrote something on the blackboard, and it was something we were going to talk about. Draft strategy. What is your draft strategy? Do you try to fill your team right away? Do you try to stack a certain position? Do you try to stack a couple positions? Do you take kicker and defense last? Do you try to get the best ones early? We want to know what your draft strategy is, even if you're in our league, because we already know what you are going to do. But what do you look to do? You know, Brian, well, let's start with Jeff. Jeff, I already know what you do, but tell everybody out there in TV land what you like to do.
Well, in the past, I've always went running back, trying to get running back heavy. These last few years, and I think it's worked out a little bit better in that first and second round, I'm going to go with the best available. And then I'm going after my running backs. And then, you know, wide receivers, they're everywhere. But once you get past, and then quarterbacks, once you get past those first 3 or 4, there's not a lot of difference between your 5th one and your 10th one. So I usually let that hang for a little while. Now, don't get me wrong. If I have a player in the back of my head that I think is just going to go off, I will go early on some of them. I have my favorites, which usually don't coincide with the group I'm playing with, which means I can usually get a lot of my players later than what they're scheduled for. Mm-hmm. Just because the group I play with, we're heavy in Kansas City fans and Denver fans, and you know, we play with a lot of gays.
Okay,
just saying.
I gotta argue that. And we play with Brian Cook.
Yeah, and Brian Cook, he brings a whole new dimension because he will take players way earlier than they need to be, and then on the other hand, you know, he'll let players sit there. So he kind of messes your lineup up, you know, because you think you get Nico Collins in the 4th round, but no, he's a first rounder with Houston nut over here.
And you've got a couple others that, you know, if you give them the entire Raider offense, they'd be happy for that. You know, first 6 rounds. I'm not going to mention names.
No names mentioned.
No names mentioned.
You know, he's there.
But, you know, Brian, what kind of strategy do you take into your draft?
See, my league's a PPR league. So, you know, point per reception leagues, I always tend to lean really heavy on my running backs and receivers. You know, I usually take probably 4 at least. Of my first 4 picks are usually running back, receiver, right off the bat. I don't even look at anybody else, unless you got like a good tight end out there that's a good reception guy. Then I might take him or sneak him in there just to get my tight end filled. But I'm definitely going 4 to 6 deep. Running back, receiver, then I'll start looking for a quarterback, tight end. You know, just kind of depends on where I'm at in the league and where everybody's going. I don't even worry about kicker. I don't even pick a kicker until the last pick usually. Defense though in my league is important. The reason that is because I kind of mess with the scoring, so defense is important in my league. So, you know, defense does have to be up there and probably, you know, 7, 8 in there somewhere around 7 or 8.
Is where a short list. There's you got 3 or 4, and then there's a gap between where the rest of them sit. Just like the tight ends, that's a short list. You know, you got 3
Right.
or 4 good ones and then a gap.
Right. Yeah. So I like I said, I'm very, very heavy on running back receiver right off the bat.
Well, the whole thing is when you talk about like defenses, there's always that one guy, that one or the one person in that draft that bang, they take a defense. And once that first defense goes, next one. I mean, it's like somebody
contagious.
opens the floodgates
It's
on the defenses. Same thing with kickers.
Well, it's because everybody panics that they're not going to get one.
Well,
You know, and it's like,
see, my whole
but-
thing is, I when I'm playing, I try to switch defenses every week depending on matchups. You know, yeah, you might not have one of the top defenses, but you can always find that one that, oh man, hey, they're playing this team this week. I'm going to take them, pick them up in the waiver wire, and get them here. You know, doesn't always work out for you, but it does work. For those of you who don't play fantasy football, there are 3 types. There's standard, which is just off their stats. PPR, which is point per reception. So if a running back, receiver, tight end catches 10 passes, you get 10 points. And then there's half point PPR, which same thing. They catch 10 balls during the week or during that game. You get 5 points. You get a half a point for every reception they get. Some people play in all sorts of different ones like that. It's just what your preference. We played standard for years.
For years.
Now we've gone to a half point PPR. So it's.
And Brian plays in a full PPR.
Yep.
full PPR.
So, Brian, let me ask you this: your draft day, you're getting ready to draft. Are you guys all together on one group, or are you online doing it on a computer?
So ours is kind of unique because we have people kind of all over the place. So we always try to do a draft party. Whoever can show up, be there in person. We have food and hang out, drink some beers, and while we're drafting, and then whoever can't make it because the drive's too much or whatever, we'll have them over Zoom, and then we do it offline. We did online the last couple of years. It's just so quick that it's hard to do it when you do it the way that we do.
You don't get to tell people how dumb they are.
Yeah.
And that's an important part of it. I mean, that's an important part of the party.
That's why I love live draft, man. You get everybody together, you get a live draft. The guy who lost last year has to supply the food. You always hope it's somebody that really is good at cooking and good at grilling or smoking, whichever one you want to go with. Last year we had really good there.
Yeah.
Thank you, D-Bus. But or they bring pizza, or they bring whatever, and
Welcome, Skylar and Zach, to the party. We're talking fantasy football tonight.
Zach, is that Zach from Colorado?
That is Zach from Colorado.
Zach from Colorado, good evening. I hope you're enjoying it. If you just tuned in, I was letting everybody know that my daughter and her boyfriend and my boss and his wife are visiting your wonderful state and town of Denver, Colorado. And Skylar, your son Skylar?
My son Skylar, he's up in Montana right now, but he's tuning in to watch us.
Well, my daughter's tuned in too. She just sent me a text.
Nice.
She's out in Denver. So we got a lot of Denver tonight.
Yeah.
But guys, we're talking fantasy. We want to know if you play, how, your draft strategy is. And Jeff kind of knows my draft strategy. I try to get a quarterback right away. I try to fill my team up with, 2 backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, a quarterback, kicker, defense. Try to get those all in that first few rounds. Isn't that what I do?
No. That's the exact opposite. He takes a quarterback after some people take defenses.
Yeah.
He finds that diamond in the rough that nobody wants.
Yeah. And, but when you look at it, like Jeff said, if you don't get a Josh Allen or a Jaden Daniels or a Lamar Jackson, and the only reason I throw those guys out as being the top quarterbacks is because they run. Jalen Hurts, he's one of those. Runs the ball, gets the tush push, gets the touchdowns. 3 points for throwing one, 6 points for running one in. Which would you rather have?
But see, like the quarterbacks that you just named, that just tells you don't have to be really good for your team in real football
Right.
to get good stats.
Right.
I mean, a Hurts and a Lamar Jackson, those are horrible players and horrible quarterbacks. But yet, in fantasy, they are the mountain.
Yeah.
They're the Mount Rushmore because they're gonna add up.
And your Joe Burrows, your Patrick Mahomes, your...
But see, now you're getting into quarterbacks that are good for their teams.
Right.
That also put up stats.
Right. So, you had to know it was going to come down tonight that hurts, Brian.
Not just Hurts.
He's going to find a way to throw that in at you every single week. You know that.
And we got to NFC East. We are NFC East. We hate each other.
Well,
I mean, the only other team that is worse than an opponent in the NFC
the
East.
Star.
No, it's Denver.
Oh.
It's always Denver. The Star hasn't been a problem since the 90s. We whatever. The Lone Star State in football, they fell off. But they do have people that are worth getting in fantasy football. They put up stats. They just don't put up W's.
All right, Brian, the last thing we're going to discuss tonight before we jump into talking about some of the players, which, is kind of what we're wanting to do tonight. How do you guys determine your draft order?
We're actually, we have to let Zach was chiming in. He said he's going to try to get Peyton Manning as a quarterback this year for fantasy football. So
Yeah,
little humor coming in, but
Zach, I would look at Tom Brady. He might be coming back. You never know with him.
well, that last year that Peyton Manning played for Denver, he probably was going to put up the same type of stats this year as he did that year.
He might.
And by the way, Justin Sass, thank you for joining in too. Also, we're talking fantasy football since you just joined us.
But I would probably take Peyton over Bo.
Yeah. Yet again, Peyton might still get better stats.
Anyway, Brian, your draft order.
So this is the first year that I've had the full list of people come back. So what we did is we determined draft on how you finished last year. So just like the NFL does, we do a snake draft. So really it doesn't matter as much, but it's just so whoever finished last gets the first pick this year. So, and then I kind of like it because this is the first year, like I said, I've had the full list come back and I've been wanting to do something like that just to see how it works. But traditionally, we just drew out of a hat randomly, for draft position. But I thought that we would add that little bit of, difference in just to see how it works.
See, last year we had a good one. Everybody went on. Rookies, when they go to the draft combine, they have to take the Wonderlic test, right?
Yeah.
So I got one online. So when everybody came in, they got on their phones. They took the Wonderlic test, abbreviated version of it, and by your score is how you
drafted.
So
that's the way to do it.
But we also do ours a little bit different in the first round.
Yeah, the first round. Your first round is.
And
a lot of people can't wrap their head around it.
I thank Tubby Green for this. Okay, Tubby used to play fantasy football with us. Tubby, I love you, miss you, man. By the way, I'm going to keep sending people back to you if I talk to them that work with you because I love doing it. But anyway, Tubby's like, I hate the first round because, if you don't get one of the top picks, you don't get this and this and this. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, why not? Why not throw it around? So we have different little contests, different little games that we do.
Remember the year we had to pick kickers?
Yeah, everybody had to pick a kicker in the first round.
And the kicker that you picked by his ranking decided how you got to pick in the second round.
Well, it was your draft order was how it worked. Everybody took a kicker in the first round. Boy, nobody got a good draft grade on Yahoo that year.
No.
Everybody took a kicker in the first round. Man, what are you thinking? Are you stupid? Or?
C was the biggest number that year.
Yeah.
The rating.
But, you do it that way, and that way, because if you have that first pick, okay, unanimously across the board on every website I've looked at, every ranking I've looked at, Jamar Gibbs is number one. Jamar Chase.
We did the darts
boots
with the
on.
balloons.
We did darts with balloons.
And we had the players inside the balloons.
Yeah.
The year we played beer pong.
Yep.
Beer pong for players that one year.
And to throw back retro, I respect that pick.
Yeah. I missed that guy. Spencer Brunts.
No.
Wasn't it Spencer?
That was Kyle Man Bun.
Oh, that was. You're
Yeah.
right. That was Man Bun.
Yeah, it was no Kyle Spicer.
I respect that.
He's out here too.
Yes, he is. He's in Colorado now.
Yeah.
We'll have to hit him up and get him on here because I know he works for John Elway. He works at one of Elway's car dealerships out there, or no, horse dealerships. Anyway,
Zach, you
Brian,
never
he
give
didn't
me to
even catch
admit
it.
something like that.
he didn't even catch it.
I was listening to Zach. Zach's sitting here telling me that Denver's going to win the AFC again, or at least second, and then I need to come back to reality and accept Denver as a good team. And it's not going to happen.
I gave you the perfect opportunity. I was talking about Kyle Spicer working for John Elway at his horse dealership.
Horse mouth.
But
hey, he's a better car salesman than he was a quarterback.
yeah, I'll say
Not Spicer.
I can say the same thing
Elway.
for you.
What? Well,
You're a better car salesman than
I
you are
am.
a
I could
quarterback.
never throw the ball well. I was fast. That was it.
But anyway, so we've talked a little bit about how people do their drafts live versus online. You know, do you get into it for the fun? Do you get into it for the money? You know, what always cracks me up, guys, if you're playing in a league for fun, our league's for fun.
Yes.
You know, our league is for fun. We have a fun time. We give each other a hard time on a group chat. We do this kind of stuff. But it's always funny when we would have some people in there and they would be sucking it up in our league. And we would give them a hard time about it. Well, yeah, but I'm leading my money league. I'm leading my money league. I'm winning my money league. You know, that's all I care about. I don't care about this one, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever noticed when people are in a money league and nobody else in that group is with them, they're always winning that, even though they haven't won a game in your league yet, but they're always winning their money league, and it just cracks me up. It really does, you know. But guys, let's go back now. Let's talk about some of the players this year. Let's talk about the big board. You know, top three: Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase. Do any of those concern you? If you had the number one overall pick in a normal draft, Jeff, would any of those three concern you? And who would you take out of those top three? Let's even go top four. Let's put Puka in there.
That's a good one to put in.
Puka, Jamar, two receivers, Jahmyr, and Bijan.
Out of them, I would probably go with one of the wide receivers. I like Jamar Chase. I like Puka. I don't think they're going to score a lot of touchdowns with Robinson in Atlanta this year, which, in my opinion, drops him in the draft. Despite he is going to be, 70% of their offense? 75% of their offense?
Is he?
He was last year.
He was last year, but you had Michael Penix. Sorry, I didn't get that right. You had Michael Penix as his quarterback for most of the year. Yeah, and that's what brings it down to it. Look at Jamar Chase. Look at how his numbers decline when Joe Burrow's hurt.
Yeah.
You know, he still gets decent numbers, but not the numbers he had when him and Burrow were there the whole season.
But you know, and talking about that, like you said in our other shows, you're picking Cincinnati. I think they're going to be an offensive juggernaut this year. They improved their offensive line. Their defense has improved. The offensive line, though, is huge. Mm-hmm. Protecting Burrow, like you said, as long as he's healthy, Jamar Chase is going to get. Even Higgins he's going to get a lot.
Well, Chase Brown, the running back, is going to benefit from all of that as well because teams aren't going to be able to stack a box on him. Brian, out of those four, what would you look at? Are you looking at the running backs or the receivers?
You know, the reason I agree with Jeff that Bijan, I think, is the one that's lower on the list for me because I just don't trust the Atlanta Falcons. It's not so much that I don't trust him; it's the Atlanta Falcons. I just don't know how much he's going to do. I think he's still going to be a solid player. I'm not taking him with my first pick if that's the case. Um, for me, all day long is Jameer Gibbs because he's a runner and a receiver. He does both. Yeah. So and he was a huge guy last year in fantasy football, and I think it's going to be again this year. I think he's the one that I would take out of all of it.
Okay, you talk about Gibbs being a runner and a receiver, and you're talking about Bijan. Most of Bijan's big plays last year were out of the passing game, though.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Of his big games. Now,
which is why I would also be cautious about picking him, because I mean they got quarterback issues.
Okay. I'm going to say this though.
They got offensive issues.
I'm going to disagree with you. If the guy they brought in can stay healthy, he did a good job in Miami. Tua, he did a reasonable job down in Miami.
But there you go. He's got to stay healthy. No one's going to take Tua.
No, I'm not taking Tua in the draft that early. But what I'm saying is,
but the reason why no one's taking Tua is because no one thinks he's going to stay healthy.
Okay, but he also has Drake London. He also has Kyle Pitts to throw to. Okay, granted, Goff has Amon-Ra to throw to, and he's got LaPorta to throw to,
and Williams.
Yeah,
and Williams. But the thing is, kind of like, if you look at Bijan last year, and the reason I know all this is because I had him on my team, they freaking yanked him out when they got inside the 5. He would take them all the way down there, they'd yank him out, and Algier would come in and vulture the touchdowns away.
Now, Algier is in Tennessee now.
Yes.
And that could be huge.
For Bijan?
No, for Algier.
Well, it could be, but I'm still not sold on the Titans offense. I mean, Cam Ward, give him another year or two, he'll have something going there, but they don't really have it.
But because it's Cam Ward, they're going to use Algier a lot.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They're going to feed that beast.
What would you take Algier with your first pick?
Not my first pick, but I take him in the first round.
Really?
But also, Jameer Gibbs he's a home run hitter. So he's going to get the big plays. He's more of a home run hitter than Bijan, I would say.
Right. Go ahead.
So I'm just saying, like, your tendency to get the big points, like, the big play points and a touchdown on top of it. I think it's just a little bit better with Jameer than it is with Bijan.
Okay. And Bijan, you bring up the fact that they would always take him out inside the 10. They did that at Texas too with him.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. So the coaches are seeing something that we don't see. Because everyone in his career has taken him out inside that 10.
Here's my thing with Gibbs, though. Okay, so I'm going to counterpoint both of you on this. I'm not saying Gibbs isn't worth that pick, but he also lost his running mate, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Montgomery went down to Houston. Montgomery would come in and run a series or two, which would give Gibbs time to rest.
Gotta feel sorry for
now
Montgomery.
Who do they bring in? They bring in another runner kind of like that. They bring in Isaiah Pacheco behind him. I would still put Montgomery over Pacheco as far as a running back. But is Gibbs going to be able to come off the field as much as he did last year to get those rests, to be able to go out and get those big?
Because Pacheco's not a great third down runner.
No.
He's not gonna get you those tough yards between the tackles. He catches when he's wide open out of the flat. But if he's being covered, no, Pacheco's not as good as Montgomery.
Right. So is that going to hurt Gibbs? Kind of like, I'm going to throw another receiver name out there because you look at these receivers, okay? And I'll get more into this when we go to the tight ends. But you look at these receivers, look at how far Justin Jefferson has dropped in the draft rankings because he's either going to have Kyler the Smurf Murray throwing to him or he's going to have J.J. McCarthy throwing to him. I mean, Is Jefferson worth a first-round pick even right now? He's
I would
talented.
not.
He's talented. I mean, he's
Is
as
there
talented-
anyone on the Minnesota's offense that qualifies for a first round?
No,
How about second round?
I don't even know.
I'm just saying.
Jefferson might be worth a second-round
because
flyer.
that Minnesota offense is going to be stagnant.
Now, let me ask you this. If Justin Jefferson played for Kansas City or Cincinnati or Buffalo or any of those teams,
Josh Allen would divorce his wife to get Jefferson on the team. And she's hot.
Would he be a first-round pick then? Would
Yes.
he be worth it?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. So the one thing about Jefferson though is traditionally in his career, he's done it like with whoever's at quarterback. It doesn't really matter. He's had kind of a turntable at quarterback. He's never really had a consistent quarterback.
He's made old quarterbacks look good, like Cousins. He made Cousins look good. And
Right.
Cousins went down to Atlanta and became the Cousins we knew and loved.
okay, but would you rather have Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback in Minnesota, or Kyle
Oh yeah.
or J.J. McCarthy?
Oh yeah. I guarantee you that
I would love Cousins back if I was a Minnesota fan.
Yeah. So
And Sam Darnold? Yeah. I mean, that's you're having a wet dream for Sam Darnold right now because they don't know what they got. They don't know what they're going to be looking at. Minnesota's a bad team this year.
Well, look at some of the other guys. If you go down the list, you got Jackson Smith and Jake Bell in Seattle. He's still teaming up with who? Sam Darnold. James Cook. They've got him ranked 6th on a lot of boards.
I've seen that.
Again,
I think honestly James Cook takes a big step back this year. I really do. They lost some off they lost some offensive line. I just think Buffalo in
You're
general
really
is
down
going to
on
be.
Buffalo.
Yes, I am down on. I don't think Buffalo is going to be that good. I keep seeing all these experts putting Buffalo at like 11 and 12 wins. I'm like, I don't see it. I really don't see it because what did they do? They didn't really do anything to make up ground. It's just
No,
they
they
have
were
Josh
relying
Allen.
on Josh Allen to carry him.
Yeah, but
more.
I mean, DJ Moore's a serviceable receiver, but he's not a number one or a true number one in that aspect.
I agree with you. He's not a true number one.
No.
But man, they got him ranked up on all these lists. He's way further up than I would have thought.
Now here's the next 3. Here's the next 3 guys. They're all running backs, and all 3 of them scare me. Christian McCaffrey.
Zach, Henry will not have a 2,000-yard season. The reason why is because they got rid of John Harbaugh because he didn't want Lamar Jackson running the ball as much. And he wanted to give the ball to Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson wants control of it to run the ball and throw the ball and lose games. And they sided with him. And they went out and got a coach that's going to allow that to happen. Derrick Henry's going to be lucky to get 1,000 yards this year.
I want to put a point in there because he said that Derrick Henry will take close to 2,000 yards and miss the playoffs.
Definitely miss the playoffs.
Hold on. If Derrick Henry would get 2,000 yards, they make the playoffs.
Yes.
Because that means that they're doing what they should be doing.
They're not going to. The moving of coaches had to do with Lamar Jackson having the ball in his hands.
You know what would be the best thing for the Ravens? If
Lamar Jackson got in a car accident?
If Sandra Bullock would show up to the game and she would stand up and say, "What in the hell are you doing?
Run the ball!"
That would be the best thing, you know? But Christian McCaffrey, always an injury risk reward with that guy right there. If he stays healthy, he's a number 1, 2, 3, 4 pick all day long. The next guy on the list that scares me, and he was very productive last year, Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis. Is he worth taking that flyer for, thinking he's going to do the same things as last year. Is Daniel Jones going to be the quarterback he was for the first half of the season last year? They lose Michael Pittman Jr., one of their top receivers. They still have Tyler Warren, their big tight end.
That's just crazy over there. Indianapolis is such a wild card. They have the potential and the players to do great things.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, no one's ever played up to their potential except for Jonathan Taylor. He's the only one that has went to his potential, what he was supposed to be. And he's carried, like the first half last year, he carried Daniel Dimes with him.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Dimes will not be the first half quarterback. He'll be the second half quarterback. And I would say that he was going to lose his job, but after today, I was looking at some of the backups and stuff. He's not in any danger of losing his job.
No. And then you've got Derrick Henry and Saquon. Both have rushed for 2,000 yards in the last few years. I don't see them both. I don't see either one of those two going for 2,000 this year.
I think Saquon's going to have a really good year.
I do too.
Hurts is going to start showing his true colors, and they're going to have to rely on him a lot.
Now, I'm going to bring two guys from the AFC West in, and I think both of these guys are going to have good years. They're down in the tiers. One, Omari and Hampton from the Chargers. I think he is going to have a good year. I'm not saying he's going to break out and run for 1,818 touchdowns. The other one came from the NFC West, Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker, going to the Chiefs. I think Reed and Bieniemy are going to find a way to use him that he is going to have a good year and take a lot of pressure off Mahomes in that passing game. Something the Chiefs haven't had for a long time. If you look at Mahomes, he's never really had that strong running game.
Well, the closest he had was Hunt.
Right.
And Hunt was a scat back
Mm-hmm.
at best. I mean, Walker can run between the tackles. He can outrun you around the corners. He can catch out of the backfield. He's an excellent blocker. He's a do-it-all back, and he will change the look of Kansas City. I agree with you about Omar. The cheater has a great football strategy.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to run the ball control, and play really good defense.
Yep.
That's his plan. That's what he wants to do. That's why Herbert will never be that big quarterback.
4,000 yard
Yeah,
passing.
he'll never be that. Omar has a much better chance of having a 1,500 yard, 15 touchdown season than Herbert has of throwing 4,000 yards.
Yeah. Brian, what's your thoughts on those two running backs?
Or the two we Saquon and Derrick Henry are them the two we're talking.
Hampton and
Walker.
Oh yeah. See, I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a decent year. I do. But I don't think he's going to have a huge year. The reason I think that is because I think that Kansas City's pretty much thrown out. They're going to be a running back by committee style team, because by bringing in Emmett.
They used to do.
Oh,
Now they're not going to.
right.
I think Emmett Johnson coming in is a big turn towards that. I think Kenneth Walker is going to be their main guy for sure. Don't get me wrong. Kenneth Walker is going to be the main guy, but I think Emmett's going to get a lot more time than what people think at Kansas City. But
he's not going to see the field that much.
No. If you've seen reports coming out of Kansas City, if you've read any reports coming out of Kansas City in their training camp, Emmett's struggling. He is struggling with schemes. He's struggling with some of that other stuff. They love his athleticism, but right now he's number 4 on their depth chart still. Now,
he's not climbing out.
Halfway through the year, maybe he'll see some third downs here and there.
What I mean by that is they spent a lot of money in their running back room.
They did.
So I don't think that they're going to necessarily key on Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is going to be their main one, but I think he's going to be probably a 60% guy, but I wouldn't say a whole
What do
lot
they
more
call
than
it
that.
in basketball? Load management. They're going to
Yeah,
have load management with Ken Walker.
yeah, they're going to wait till the playoffs to really push who they really want to push. That's what they're going to do. That's the way Kansas City is. Kansas
But
City just kind of does that.
I
Yeah.
could still see Walker going for 1,200 or 1,400 all-purpose yards, plus
I could see that.
12 to 14 touchdowns, air and
Right,
ground.
Yeah,
right.
I can see
And
that.
I think Hampton will have a decent year too.
And
It's
I
just
think
that
go
it's
ahead.
just that the Chargers don't have a whole lot of skill position guys. They're kind of weak in the skill positions. They're so yeah, I think that they're going to have somebody to rely on to try to take, a lot of that offense.
Well, let's talk about some of the receivers we haven't talked about. Some of the well, no, I got one more back. I want to see what you guys think of. One of the top picks in the NFL draft this year, Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame down in Arizona. Again, talented young running back, but what does Arizona have under center? That's the whole question. They don't have anything under center. You've got three potential all-pro players down in Arizona right now in skill positions in Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Love, who I think could be, and of course Trey McBride, one of the top tight ends in the league. But you got rid of Kyler Murray,
Yeah.
and so now is Jeremiah going to even have a decent season? I mean, I don't know. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is going to do it under center for Arizona and be able to take pressure off those three guys.
I don't understand how they ended up having him as their number one. I mean, what happened in their coaching room when they were doing their draft and free agency talks and all of that? How do you end up with that as your starter? With all those pieces that you were just talking about, having, potential. They have a very highly paid offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a top 5 offensive line, but it's a very good offensive line.
Yeah.
And then they end up with a quarterback that, casual football fans might not even know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
My wife wouldn't know who he is.
No.
I think honestly, I think Arizona would have been a good spot for like a Kirk Cousins to go to.
Yeah.
Somebody that they needed just to get by for
But
just a year or so.
I think Cousins is in a good spot in Vegas. I really do.
I think
he's got Bowers. He's got Ashton Genty in there with him. I think they're using him to groom Mendoza. I think he is Alex Smith. What Alex Smith was to Patrick Mahomes.
You think Cousins is going to start?
Yeah.
He's going to start. From what I heard, they're going to start him for at least the first few weeks.
Yep.
But the good thing about Kirk Cousins is he's down to earth enough that he's like, whoever's the better quarterback, start him. Like, he doesn't really care. He's at the end of his career anyway. But I don't put much stock on the preseason, but Mendoza looked pretty good in his first preseason game. I'm just saying it looked like he was adapting to the speed of the NFL compared to college.
He stayed in the pocket. He threw downfield. He kept his eyes down. I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked good. I think it's one of them things you'll see Kirk Cousins start the first 5 games, and then they're going to go to Mendoza is what's going to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cousins played every game this year, kind of like letting Mendoza. I mean, if you look at throwing a rookie quarterback in is okay. You can't expect to go to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback most of the time. There have been some examples, but then look what happens after that. What Reed did by letting probably one of the most a generational quarterback in Mahomes play behind Alex Smith or not play, but watch him, learn that, and then come in that next year and look what he does. And basically his rookie year, his second year on the team, throws for what, 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in that second year.
Zach from the Stoner State agrees with you. He doesn't think that they'll throw Mendoza into the wolves.
I mean, even if you're 3-9 in the first 12 games, why, you can give him a little bit of game time, maybe have a couple packages or a couple series where he runs them just to kind of get the speed of the NFL compared to college in there. But why risk him going down with an injury? Why risk your future quarterback? Let him sit behind. I mean, Kirk Cousins, is he going to go to the Hall of Fame? No. But Kirk Cousins is a decent NFL quarterback, game management quarterback, like we've talked about Sam Darnold.
Now
We've
remember,
talked about Geno Smith.
you put that out there of them only winning 3 games. They're in one of the weakest divisions in the NFL. They're going to win a lot more than that. They get to play Denver twice, for God's sakes. They get to play Kansas City twice. They get to play. I mean, they're going to win.
That is the second.
They're going to win.
That is the second or third toughest division in football.
That is not.
Yes, it is.
No.
There will be 3 teams come out of that division. I guarantee it.
If 3 teams come out of that division, Las Vegas will be one of them.
Not a chance. That's not
Absolutely.
happening. No,
Now,
not happening.
I threw the 3-9 out there, Jeff, because if you remember a couple weeks ago, I picked the Vegas Raiders to be one of my most improved teams in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Because of the upgrades they made, because of Tyler Lindenbaum coming in,
Because of the
anchor
weak
that
division
offensive
they're in.
line, to Bowers, to Genty having a second year, a year under his belt at that running back position. I think they will be improved. But what Brian's saying in that AFC West, you look at the AFC South, look at the AFC North, look at the AFC East. The AFC across the board is weaker now than it ever has been. You take Tomlin out of Pittsburgh, you take Harbaugh out of Baltimore, you've weakened those 2 teams already.
Absolutely.
I don't think the AFC East, Vrabel and the Patriots, I feel are going to win that division again.
They're going to win the AFC.
And then you've got down in the AFC South, you've got Houston. They're sitting there licking their chops because they get to play the St. Mary's School of the Blind twice. They get, the Colts twice. They get to play, the Texas
Jags.
What's that?
They play the Jags twice.
And they play, who's the other team down there? Why can't I think of it now? Oh,
Tennessee
twice. So that is the weakest division in the AFC right there. The North, I think, is going to be weaker. I think Cincinnati, barring Burrow getting hurt again, is that. But I just, I can kind of agree with Brian. 3 teams could come out of that West.
Like I said, if 3 teams come out, Las Vegas is one of them.
Not going to agree with you on that one, but we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. Guys, let's talk a little bit about some of the lower receivers, and I don't mean lower. Here's 2 guys, and I have a hard time even thinking about drafting either one of them, even though they're both good. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. They play on the same team. Dak Prescott is their quarterback. They don't really have the greatest running game, and how you can take one or the other, but you don't know which one he's going to pick that week. Which one is going to have the monster game? Which is it going to be kind of an every other week thing? Is he going to be like, okay, CD, week 1, 3, 5, 7 are yours. George, 2, 4, 6, 8 are yours. 2 great receivers, but you got them both on the same team. There is no clear-cut number 1, out of my opinion, out of those 2.
I agree with you, but I would have to give the edge to George Pickens. I think George Pickens had a better year last year than CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was not the same player last year. He just didn't look the same. He didn't make the outstanding catches that he used to make. He actually made some really bad drops. Really bad drops. There,
But is that because
what
Pickens was there?
right. You know,
Is-
I don't know. I honestly think that CeeDee Lamb, is dropping off quite a bit. Just because like he doesn't look as confident as he used to. Like CeeDee Lamb was really good for his first 3 years. Really good. But like last year I watched some of the Cowboys games. He just like really bad plays, really bad drops that cost the Cowboys some games. And
Okay,
I
not to interrupt you, but I'm going to liken this to your team. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. A.J. looked really good when he first came there. But then Hurt started looking for Devontae more. He looked for Devontae when the game was on the line. That's what Dak was doing with George Pickens last year. CeeDee Lamb is one of those players that would benefit getting traded to another team that doesn't have a clear-cut number one receiver, aka Buffalo. You know, Jacksonville is BTJ. But I think that's what it is. If you know you're not the primary receiver on that play, are you going to go as hard? Now some of the guys will, but I mean,
And the duels that you just mentioned have the same problem: an inconsistent quarterback. Because Dak, 1 week looks like he should be in the Hall of Fame, and then the very next week he throws 3 interceptions and barely broke 200 yards. And it took Pickens a one-handed grab to get him over the 200.
mm-hmm. Brian, I swear to you, I do not try to set him up to make fun of Hurts. I promise. I'm not trying to do that. But
sorry.
You talk about the two we just talked about. A.J. Brown going to the Patriots now. They've got him ranked higher than Devonta Smith on the list. Is that accurate? Is A.J. physical ability and attributes, is A.J. better than Devonta?
Oh, if you're going off of just physical attributes, I would say hands down, AJ is a better receiver. But I think what will be interesting, and actually Devontae Smith had a year without AJ Brown, where he was the main guy, and he did okay, but he wasn't outstanding. But it was also his rookie year.
Right.
I think what's going to be really a big thing is how does the kid out of USC,
Right, Lemon.
Lemon, how is he going to do coming in? Because I could see him having a pretty good year because Devontae's going to be the double team.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another guy that's going to have probably a pretty good year if he can stay healthy is Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert is going to get a lot of targets. With AJ Brown going, Devontae Smith is the number one. So it's going to come down to Lemon and Goddard, I think, for their number one target.
All right, guys, we are running short on time. I'm going to jump to the quarterback position here real quick. 3 years ago, would you have ever imagined this would have happened? Caleb Williams ranked 10th. Well, I guess he wasn't in the league. Kyler Murray ranked 11th.
Zach, you're right.
Prescott ranked 12th. Patrick Mahomes ranked 15th. Is Mahomes really the 15th best quarterback in the league? In fantasy, in regular games, I don't agree with it. Real quick, what did Zach say?
Oh, Zach's saying that AJ went to a weaker team and gets to bust up his stats against the Jets with the likelihood of Jets and the Dolphins. And he'll have a big year fantasy-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And he's absolutely right.
Yep. So, is Mahomes really the 15th best quarterback in fantasy football? I know he's coming off an injury.
When's the last time that fantasy owners were happy they had him at the end of the season?
2 years ago.
Yeah. Now 3. Even 2 years ago, it was a lackluster fantasy numbers wise. He had yards, but he didn't have a lot of touchdown passes. He didn't run for touchdowns. I mean, he just. I think it's fair being around 15. maybe a little bit better than that. But then on the other hand, they brought in Kenny Walker. He's going to take away some of those touchdowns.
Well, let's see. Mahomes threw for 3,900 yards and 26 touchdowns 2 years ago before the injury season. So, I mean,
that's not horrible.
No. And, if he's that low ranked and people are going off rankings and whatever, maybe somebody can get a flyer with him down there. But
nah, in our league, we live in Kansas City world.
Yeah, I know. But who's right in front of him? Jeff's number 1 pick this year, Bo Nix.
Thought you were going to go Brock Purdy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, though, the quarterbacks. Jackson, Lamar, Josh Allen. You can even throw Jaden Daniels up in there. Jalen Hurts, those guys. They're running quarterbacks. They're going to go off the board quick. The pure passing quarterbacks.
Does Drake May have a good season again?
I don't know. He's ranked 3rd.
I mean, that's a wild card there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your whole New England, they came out of nowhere last year. No one expected them, and then boom. And even fantasy-wise, a lot of the people that were deep in the playoffs were because they had New England players that they picked up late in the drafts because no one had faith in them. And I think that most likely will happen again because it's just nothing stands out. I mean, you don't go, wow, I got Drake May. You're not going to see that.
All right.
I think that Mahomes is going to be a comeback player of the year candidate this year. Honestly, I depending on when he comes back, that's the biggest key is when is he coming back? Because it sounds like
they're looking at week 5, which is a bye week, so week 6.
Yeah, so like you're a quarter of the way through the season. I would take a chance on him if he's on my bench. Hell yeah! If I can get him at the right spot, I'll take him and just see what happens. I just don't know, but I think he's going to have a pretty decent year when he comes back.
I don't know. I thought he was coming back before that. Right now, according to this, Patrick Mahomes is on track to play in week 1.
Really?
I know he's been practicing. I know he's been doing that. He has been cleared for full team work following that ACL injury last year. And the Chiefs plan for him to start the regular season opener against the Broncos.
If that's the case, then man, it may be a different year than what I thought. But I've always heard that he's week 4 or 5, somewhere in there. But if he's come back week 1, that's going to be huge for Kansas City.
To that, he's on track to start week 1 against the Broncos. So, I don't know. All right, guys. 1 sleeper pick. Doesn't matter. Position. Whatever. Jeff?
Ooh.
I mean, we're looking for guys outside the top 20. Okay? Just somebody you think might have a big year that other people are kind of looking at. Or aren't looking at, I guess I should say.
I'm going to be a homer. And Jackson Dart's going to have a huge year.
Okay. Brian?
I think that
Ready for that question.
I know you were.
I got 2 of them here because like one that I would want as a starter consistently, or one that's going to be coming off the bench. If I'm taking a guy that I'm going to take a chance that he's going to be a starter every week, I'm actually going to take a chance on Mike Evans. I think with them having some injuries out there, he's not going to be asked to be the number 1. They did bring in Debo to take a little bit off too. I think he's going to be a red zone target. So I think that he could get some cheap touchdowns, here and there. He might be one of my guy that I put in as a flex or something like that. But if I'm taking somebody that's I'm gonna play him a week here, a week there. That receiving core in Denver's deep. So you got Jalen Waddle, you got Cortland Sutton, but the guy that he has the most like continuity with is Troy Franklin. I think Troy Franklin's going to have a pretty good year with them two big targets, and he's going to get the easy catches, is what I'm going to say. I think Troy Franklin's going to have a pretty good year.
Well, Dalton Lobby, we talked about this at Regan's graduation, buddy. I'm glad you finally came in and joined us. Dalton, it's good to have you here. Sorry, we're not talking Braves baseball tonight, buddy. I know you're on there. You think Burrows is going to be our MVP this year, Dalton?
And he also, from what he's here, thinks Mahomes is coming back week 1 or 2.
Yep. Well, guys, my sleeper, I don't even know if you can call him a sleeper. He is a starter on this team. I've actually got 2 of them. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to have a big year in Cleveland. I know that they don't have a whole lot of other stuff going on in Cleveland right now, but I think Judkins in year 2 is going to be a huge back. I think by the end of the year, he will be one of the top 10 backs in the league with yards and touchdowns. My other one is a tight end. I've been high on this guy before. Isaiah Likely in New York. I think Isaiah is going to have a big year. He's out of the Mark Andrews shadow. He's going to be his own man. He's coming in now to New York. They've got Neighbors. They've got Scattaboo. They've got Tracy. They've got Dart.
And Neighbors is still hobbled, which is going to, I think, work in Likely's favor.
They got Odell Beckham.
Yeah, we did sign Odell Beckham.
Yeah, but did you hear what happened?
No.
He got in another fight with the kicking net. So they're not sure if he's going to be suspended for 3 or 4 games. But no, and then, you sit there and you talk about sleeper picks and you go here. You can always throw in some of the rookies. You got Mekhi Lemon. You got Carnell Tate.
Zach picks Aaron Rodgers.
As a
having a really good year.
Retirement?
Having a really good year. So, Cal, we are all thinking that would be a sleeper pick.
Yeah, because they're going to need to wake Rodgers up from naps on the sidelines to tell him he's got to go play offense. Rodgers could have a good year. He did get Michael Pittman up there. He's got DK Metcalf up there.
Is pot legal in Pennsylvania?
Brian?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, Aaron Rodgers, they might have to curb the cummies off of him.
Now, guys, fantasy football coming up. If you've already had your draft, wonderful. If you haven't had your draft, good luck in it. As we said, we did not allow Brian Cook to come on here because he would have been sitting there going, Houston Texans players, guys. Houston Texans players. Draft as many as you can. Because C.J. Stroud went to Ohio State, and Ohio State has never produced a good NFL quarterback. Anyway.
Don't forget their defense. That's a top 4 pick.
Now, I will say the defense down in Houston is pretty good.
It's got to be a top 4 pick, though.
I'm not going to lie. Oh, you're talking top 4, not just defense.
Yeah,
top 4 pick. Yeah. C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, David Montgomery, and the Houston defense. Top 4 off the board. Anyway. Guys, fantasy football, you got to love it. If you don't play fantasy football, go on to Yahoo, go on to CBS Sports, go on to any of those websites, ESPN, join one.
Yeah.
Join one. Even if you're playing with people you have no idea who they are.
It changes the way you watch football, and it helps you get excited.
Red Zone. NFL Red Zone.
NFL Red Zone.
Because anytime you see somebody that you have a player on that team and they cut to them, you know somebody's going to score, and you're like, please let it be them. And then you see it's somebody else, and you throw the remote. But, Dalton, Titans sleeper team this year, in your opinion, Saleh. Dude, I love Robert Saleh. I love him as a coach. I think the Jets screwed him over. I think that was Aaron Rodgers that screwed Saleh over in New York when he was there yet. But yes, you are right. I don't know if the Titans are going to be that big team this year, but Robert Saleh is a Mike Vrabel type coach. And I think Saleh will get the Titans up and running. In New York, I mean, if you wear green and white in New York, you just go there to die. I'm sorry. It's you've got they've had some great players come through there, but never a quarterback. When's the last time the Jets had a great quarterback? Can anybody tell me?
Vinny Testaverde.
Joe Namath. Super Bowl free. You guaranteed the win.
Testaverde. That's awesome.
Vinny.
All right.
My cousin Vinny.
They had Sanchez too.
Yo, butt fumble.
That was the last time they were decent.
They were okay then. They went to the playoffs a couple times. But Vinny got them to the AFC Championship a couple years in a row. So, I mean, he was okay, but they had a great defense back then, too. They had some really good defenses back then.
Vinny had a big arm.
Vinny did. He did. But, guys, good luck in fantasy football this year. Brian, good luck to you in your league. Jeff, I hope you suck as always. Just because you're in the league.
And what are? We're 15 days out to college football.
15 days out to college football, guys. 15 days out. I read an article today. We're going to get into that one next week.
All right.
On the sellout streak at Nebraska.
I read that article.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that.
Yes, we are. So, please, tell everybody about this show. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit any button on your computer right now if you're watching us or your phone, whatever it is. Please keep interacting with us, guys. That's how we want you to interact. We want this. Brian, also, we're going to do the college and pro football pick'ems again this year.
Yes, I'll get that going.
All right.
Yep. So we can get people signed up.
We're going to try to get as many people signed up for this. I want it big. I'm going to try to find maybe a sponsor or two. Maybe we can get a couple good prizes for the winner of the college and the winner of the pro. See what we can do there. A couple years ago, we gave away these beautiful, beautiful Tailgate Talk Nebraska coasters.
Yep. And glasses.
And glasses.
Yep. We also had some shirts that went around. So we'll get something going this year again.
Yeah. We're going to get some things going this year. Dalton, talk to your dad. I'll talk to him too. Maybe we can get his company to maybe sponsor a segment on this show. That would be kind of cool, whatever we have. And not tonight, not this week, but here in a couple weeks, fans, go check on our little shorts we're going to be putting out. We're going to stay on after the show is over. We're going to do a little 10 to 15 minute recap on some different things that we don't have time to fit in during this show. Start looking for those coming up very, very soon. But please, tune in again next Thursday. We're glad you spent a little bit of your week here with us. Hopefully we made it better. Hopefully we showed you how to win your fantasy football league this year. For Brian Denton in Colorado, for Jeff Green and Beatrice, and myself, Derek Long, we'll even throw Brian Cook in there wherever he may be tonight. You've been watching Tailgate Talking.
We know sports.
We know sports.